everybody. Welcome to the World of Concacaf podcast. We're at the news desk. I'm Eric Schmitz.
And I'm Donald Wine.
And it's the June international window. And in CONCACAF, that means we've got World Cup qualifying. Donald, a lot of action coming up. You excited?
I am. These are going to be important because with this expanded tournament, we might get some new teams here with a shot at this thing, and which I think that's great for CONCACAF.
Yeah. In general, I mean, because CONCACAF is hosting this tournament, the U.S., Canada, and Mexico are already in the tournament. They don't have to do qualifying, so we're missing some of the big dogs for this one. But because of that, we're doing kind of this weird setup. We had a brief round one, and the second round here, which we are halfway through, is kind of the meat of qualifying. Like, this is where a lot of the teams have their shot. So we've got 6 groups of 5 teams each. Each team's playing one game against each other to advance to the third round. We've got 6 groups of 5. Top 2 teams move on. And instead of just beating around the bush, let's just kind of get right into it. Donald, do you want to start us off with Group A?
Yeah, and just for the record, I'm going to list the points and the goal differential only if there's a tie that's separating. So that'll make this go a little easier. So in first place right now in Group A, we have Honduras with 6 points. Cuba is in second with 3 points and a +1 goal differential. Cayman Islands are third with 3 points and a -2 goal differential. You have Antigua and Barbuda in fourth place with 1 point and a -1 goal differential. And then heading up the rear is Bermuda, 1 point with a -5 goal differential.
Yeah, so obviously no one's really locked a spot in yet. Things are looking good for Honduras. Honduras sitting in first place with 6 points. They've got away to Cayman and home to Antigua and Barbuda. They can clinch a spot in the next round with the win at Cayman. They are missing Rigoberto Rivas. He's out with a muscle injury, so Reynaldo Rueda's squad is missing one of their key players. The interesting note for me is that Honduras is hosting Antigua and Tegucigalpa. Everyone, thinks Honduras. They think San Pedro Sula. Honduras has actually hosted 8 of their last 9 home matches in Tegucigalpa instead of San Pedro Sula, which I think is super interesting. But it's been working for them.
I think there was talk about them. There was a reason behind that. I think the San Pedro Sula Stadium has been ruled like dilapidated beyond repair, and so at least for international purposes, I don't know that they're necessarily allowed to play there right now. So I haven't heard about whether or not they are planning on fixing it, or if it's something that is a repair, if it's a complete redo. But that's the reason that I heard that they're playing in Tegucigalpa, is that they had to make the switch.
Yeah, well, it's working for them.
Yeah. Next up, Cuba. And I think the one thing that I always think about Cuba, and Eric, I think we talked about this back in March before the other qualifiers. March was the first time that Cuba called in naturalized players to play for the national team. Usually they're a group that is very tight-knit. By tight-knit, I mean they keep block on their players. We hear about players defecting all the time. And when they defect normally, their time with the national team is done, and they end up either naturalizing and playing somewhere else, or never playing international soccer again. But this time they're allowed to come back and play. And so I think that opens up a little bit more. I think Cuba has realized that if they want to make this particular World Cup, as we mentioned, the opening is there. They have to really get creative with fielding a roster and getting a player pool that's deep enough to be able to outlast World Cup qualifying.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Cuba is in the position they're in, with sitting on 3 points, because of our next team. Because Cayman Islands, if you recall, in qualifying last June, Cayman Islands actually forfeited their match at Cuba because the Cayman players on student visas did not want to risk running afoul of the U.S. government. So Cuba's one win is actually not even like a result as far as like an on the field victory. And Cayman, sitting there on 3 points, they had gotten the big win over Antigua and Barbuda last year. They've got an opportunity to move on to the next round. They're at Bermuda, then they have a tough home match against Honduras. But the even that all that said, Cayman Islands, they're in a weird spot because they've got a new coach as of last week. Head coach Joe Japjong left the team on May 28th. It was announced. No one has said why he left the team. He got fired. No one knows why he is gone. I've scoured news articles. No idea why Joe Japjong is no longer coaching the Cayman Islands national team. So one of the assistants, Colin Dougie Rowe, is going to be leading the squad. They've got the tough away match at Bermuda, but if they go get a result, they might still be in it by the time Honduras comes into town.
It's a bold strategy. I don't know if they consider this Michael Jordan secret stuff, him leaving, but we'll see. It's very interesting to do that, as you mentioned, so close to these particular matches that are very important for them because they're in a position to move to the next round and again have a really, really good shot at making at least the interconfederational playoff. Let's move on to Antigua and Barbuda. I'm sorry, Antigua and Barbuda, a team that is near and dear to my heart. The one thing that I think is notable is that their captain, longtime captain, he's second all time in caps, Quentin Griffith, he was dropped from the squad. And so I when we played Antigua Barbuda back in 2012, like he was the young buck on the team. And now he is the elder statesman, and it seems like they're going in a different direction. I think this is the first time he's been dropped in the squad, so we don't know if it's indicative of anything other than
New
he's just not on
coach.
this roster. Yeah, new coach. But also, again, new coach doesn't normally mean, hey, old guys get out, new guys come in. It could mean, hey, I need to evaluate all this talent. I don't have many match days to do it. They don't get friendlies every window like the United States or Canada or Mexico do. So during World Cup qualifying, doesn't seem like the most opportune time. But hey, throw the kids in there and see what they can do.
Yeah. And rounding out the group, we've got Bermuda. Bermuda sitting on 1 point with a -5 goal difference. They, the Gombe Warriors, they are getting kind of an opportunity. We talked about Cayman Islands. Things are a little, hectic there. They are hosting Cayman in this first match, and then they go away to Cuba. Of course, they're eliminated with a loss to Cayman, but I feel like this is an opportunity for Bermuda to get back into the conversation with this first match day. Coach Michael Finley's squad includes Razier Smith Jones, back with the Bermuda national team for the first time since 2019. And yeah, I mean, there's still some soccer to be played in this Group A, so really looking forward to it. Moving on to Group B, we'll go to the Group B standings. Leading the way is Costa Rica with 6 points in first place. In second place, Trinidad and Tobago on 4 points. In third place is St. Kitts and Nevis with 3 points. Fourth place, Grenada with 1 point. And in fifth place, Bahamas with 0 points.
That was very smooth, very simple. Everybody's got a different
Yeah.
thing, but also, again,
No
there's a
one's
lot of
tied.
teams. No one's tied, but also a lot of teams are still in the thick of things. I start with Costa Rica because this might be the biggest development of any team in World Cup qualifying. Keylor Navas, the God, is back. And
He wants to do one more. He wants to do
he
one
wants
more.
one more shot at this thing, and I, for one, support him in it. And again, adding to the drama and the theatrics of it all is their head coach. Miguel Herrera is also back in international football. This is a match made in I don't know what, but definitely for us, it's made in popcorn. I don't know if it's Oval Redenbacher, but we're gonna find out very quickly.
Yeah. Uh, Next up, Trinidad and Tobago on 4 points. They're hosting St. Kitts and Nevis, and then they go away to Costa Rica for that last match. Coach Dwight York's team has got some reinforcements coming and some new players. Dante Sealy, who you might remember the name from the U.S. national teams, youth national teams. He's been called in. He's likely going to get cap tied in these matches. They recently just had a domestic squad go play in the Unity Cup over in the UK, where they finished fourth. But Dwight York says there's quote there's new selection of players coming. There are a lot of players who will come back. once the window is fully open on June 1st. He's got all these guys in. Has had a long camp, and I mean they've got the leg up on St. Kitts and Nevis to get that second spot in the group.
Yeah, well, St. Kitts and Nevis again, nipping right at their heels, and uh, that big match that they have coming up on the road at Trinidad and Tobago is going to tell a lot about how this group might maybe shakes out. They were with a new coach. I say new. Austin Huggins took over back in November from Francisco Molina in an effort to try and turn around their fortunes and hopefully get to the next round.
Yeah. And then next up, we've got Spice Boys, Grenada, sitting on 1 point, but they've got two games that have some potential here. They host the Bahamas, then they are away to St. Kitts and Nevis. Anthony Modeste has had his local players in camp. They had a friendly with Anguilla where they got the win, but sitting on 1 point, only 3 points back at Trinidad. Spice Boys, they're not out of it yet.
Yeah, and heading up the rear, as I mentioned, is the Bahamas. The interesting thing is they are hosting Costa Rica at a neutral site. They're going to be playing in Barbados at Wildly Turf. Shout out to our buddy Ray, who was just landed as of a few minutes ago in the Barbados. Say
At
hello
recording time.
at recording time. Say hello to Rihanna for us. But Kevin Davies is their coach, and Kevin Davies has basically, all but said that this team has dedicated themselves to the preparation. And he says, quote, "We're focused and ready to represent the Bahamas with pride, determination, and purpose." That is a lot of words to say that they're fighting for scraps here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to take a miracle for them to qualify for the next round. But they could play spoiler, and they're going to go out with a fight. That's what we're hearing.
Yeah. All right, Donald, let's move on to Group C. Where are we
Yeah,
at with
so
that?
Group C, we have Curacao in first place with 6 points, plus 5 goal differential, tied with Haiti, who's in second place. They have 6 points with a plus 3 goal differential. St. Louis is in St. Louis. St. Lucia is in third. We just watched the game in St. Louis. My bad. St. Lucia is in third with 1 point and a -1 goal differential, just ahead of Aruba, 1 point with -2 goal differential. And at the bottom is Barbados, 0 points, -5 goal differential.
All right, and the top two teams, they're really in a great spot here. We'll start off with Curacao on the 6 points with the +5 goal difference. They are going to host St. Lucia, and then they play quote unquote away to Haiti. They actually luck out a little bit. They're playing in Aruba, so little flight for the guys in Curacao to get over to that match. Dick Advocaat's squad, they're excited about the opportunity to move on to the next round. Rangelo Jenga is your co-leading scorer in World Cup qualifying right now. It's 3 goals. He just came off a season with FC Eindhoven in the Dutch second division.
So Haiti is in second place. You mentioned that they are playing the home match against Curacao in Aruba. They also start at Aruba, so they're not leaving the island. That actually could be a good thing for them, and probably why they scheduled that neutral site to be there, so they didn't have to make any trips during this window. The one thing about their squad is because they have a lot of people. They're trying to, get the squad back up. Their preliminary roster had 60 people on it, with 4 guys with the last name Pierre. We have not confirmed that all of them are related, but Pierre is like Williams in the United States. It's a very common last name. So you might don't if you hear the word Pierre, if you hear the name Pierre, you're gonna have to look up to figure out who it might be when you tune into this game.
They all didn't make the 23 for qualifying, but they were all in the Gold Cup 60
There's,
man
I guess, there's a
roster.
quota of Pierres that Sebastian Minier can bring.
Too many Pierres. All right, moving on. So, St. Lucia, they got some work to do. They're away to Curacao, and then they host Barbados. St. Lucia is actually playing their first match against Barbados since 2019. A little bit of a rivalry there that's finally getting renewed. Stern John squad. They're hosting their first qualifier in Gross Islet since 2011. Um, as we know, St. Lucia skipped qualifying last cycle. So they've got some work to do, but they want to keep this cycle going as long as they can.
Aruba has a lot of ground to cover. Again, not a great chance of them making the next round. They do travel to Barbados, and then they fly home to host Haiti in that second game that they have. That's the tell. Maybe they can sneak into that third place, but it's going to be very hard. They're going to need all 6 points, and they're going to need Curacao and Haiti and St. Lucia essentially to not do anything this round for them to make it.
Speaking of needing miracles, uh, Barbados, your Bajan Tridents, they're 6 points back of the second spot. They are sitting on 0 points. They host Aruba. They go to St. Lucia, but Kent Hall's squad, they're in a tough spot. Kent Hall, of course, he was named interim manager back in May of 2024. I think he was named interim technical director in September 2024. I believe that's all official now. But Kent Hall rests on his shoulders to get them some results here in Group C. Donald, I think we should take a little bit of a breather, a little break. We've been through groups A, B, and C. We'll step away for a minute and then hit groups D, E, and F. So stick around. All right, we're back. We've got three more groups to get through in this Concacaf World Cup qualifying second round. Let's start with Group D because that is alphabetically next. Just going through the standings, Nicaragua leads the way with 6 points and a +7 goal difference. Panama, second place with 6 points and a +4 goal difference. Guyana sitting in third place with 3 points. And then fourth, we've got Montserrat, the Emerald Boys, 0 points and -5 goal difference, just ahead of Belize, where the Golden Jaguars have 0 points, but have a -6 goal difference.
So let's start with Nicaragua. They are in a great position here. It's one that they probably haven't been in a long time. They are at the top of a group that features Panama. And their issue is they have to go to Panama in this international window. That is going to be the biggest game in Nicaraguan history, at least in a long time for them, if they can get a result in Panama, which Eric, you and I know is very difficult to do. They are also missing some key players on this roster. Marvin Fletes, Jason Vega, Matias Belli, Ariagner Smith, and Juan Luis Perez are all missing from this roster. So the Phantasma himself, Marco Figueroa, is going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat to get Nicaragua through to the next round.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Panama, and big news for Thomas Christensen's squad today. Adalberto Carrasquilla, who was won the MVP of the Gold Cup the last time around. He's been dropped from the squad along with Omar Valencia. They're going to miss World Cup qualifying. They're going to miss the Gold Cup due to injury. Massive, massive blow for Panama, but with matches at Belize and home to Nicaragua, sitting on 6 points, they are a pretty sure bet to get through to the third round of qualifying.
Guyana is still in this thing. They have 3 points, and the great thing for them is that their first match, while it's on the road, is at Nicaragua, so they have a chance to gain some points back on one of the top two teams here. They then also host Montserrat, but aside from all that, they're also under construction. Eric, did you see this? They're beginning expansion on the training center for a new field that's going to host international matches. I think you and I would agree that it's great for that particular portion of CONCACAF, right? That South American piece of the puzzle that we have. But I think more of these teams getting new fields to host international matches. I think Guyana is also looking at the fact that teams are now doing a lot of neutral site games to minimize travel, especially the Caribbean teams. And they're saying, hey, why not us? Why can't we be a hub for some of these things, especially as we get into later cycles?
Yeah. And as you might have heard on our CONCACAF Laser Focus episode about Guyana, there's a lot of money going around there these days. So great to see that the development of soccer is taking off in Guyana. Next up, we've got Montserrat. Things are tough there. They've got a new coach, and it's a familiar name in CONCACAF. Angus Eve, the former Trinidad men's coach. He has taken over this Montserrat national team. Uh, they got a home match against Belize, which is actually being played in Trinidad. That game's getting hosted in Cuba. Then they go to Guyana. Um, Montserrat, it's just that is one of those teams in CONCACAF where it's like, man, if they could just put together and have some consistency, a lot of opportunity there. They recently played a 60-minute friendly versus Trinidad side Pro Series FC uh, over the weekend, and they won that 2-0. So we'll see what they got.
So Belize has a neutral site game at Montserrat. We just mentioned that. And then they also host Panama. So Panama obviously is looking at this as an opportunity to get 3 points. But the thing about Belize is we don't know who's actually coaching this group. They have a coaching staff of Daniel Bartolota, Enrique Mesa Jr. There is Carlos Slusher. He remains on the team. But who is the guy in charge? We have no idea. I think you're gonna have to tune into Paramount Plus to find out.
Yeah, I don't even know if we're on Paramount Plus for these qualifiers, but anyways, uh, yeah. So like Belize has had a coach, and Charlie Slusher has been like managing that team. And the Federation was like, we're gonna bring in some extra guys just to like, you know,
Spice things
fill
up.
out fill out the squad. And no one really knows who's making the call here. Um, the media reports it was back in April that they announced that they were adding these guys to the squad. And yeah, I don't think it's clear. And obviously, they are in a tough situation with the standings right now. I don't know if they're going to be able to figure it out. But yeah, weird spot for the
Competition,
Bees these days.
competition at every spot, from goalkeeper to coach.
Yeah, they're fighting for time on the bench.
Each of them are gonna get a third of the game to sit up there, folded arms at the touch line and give directions.
Oh, man. All right. Now, where are we at in Group E?
All right, so Group E, we have Guatemala on top with 6 points and a +9 goal differential. Jamaica right there with them, 6 points with a +2 goal differential. In third, Dominican Republic with 3 points and a +3 goal differential. And then you have Dominica, 0 points, -7 goal differential, tied on points and goal differential with the British Virgin Islands.
Yes, Dominica slightly ahead because they scored 2 goals.
They scored two,
Scoring
yes.
goals, scoring goals is always better. Uh, so you said Guatemala leading the way. They've got a home match against Dominican Republic, and then they go away to Jamaica. Basically, you go get a result in Dominican Republic, and you are through. So great opportunity for Luis Fernando Tenia's side there.
Jamaica, they're coming off a second place finish at the Unity Cup. They defeated Trinidad and Tobago, but they drew Nigeria and they fell in penalties. Steve McLaren's side did show well in that, but they are going to turn that around. They are at the British Virgin Islands and then home to Guatemala in this international window.
Yeah. Next up, we've got the Dominican Republic sitting on 3 points. Really, the only team that's got a shot here. They need to go get a result against Guatemala to stay alive. But then they host Dominica. So Marcelo Nevelev's side still an opportunity. But the interesting thing I found in this Group E is three of these teams out of the five are in this summer's Gold Cup. So two are going to move on, and then there's going to be a team that's got to go play the Gold Cup after getting knocked out of the World Cup. So it'll be really interesting to see how that whichever team doesn't make it responds in this summer's tournament.
Then we have Dominica. They're basically eliminated. Let's be clear. But the one thing about this is that the match against the British Virgin Islands, their home match, will be a tribute match for their captain, goalkeeper Prince. He's hanging up his gloves after 20 years of service. So, congratulations to him on a great career. He will get one last match before the home fans in this first match of this particular window.
Yeah. And then just rounding out the group, we've got the British Virgin Islands. They're away to Dominica and hosting Jamaica, which that will likely be a very close match. These will be the first official matches under new coach David Perez. He was the former Belize coach from 2022 to 2024. Yeah, it's an opportunity for him to get to know the team. But I will note that the British Virgin Islands Federation is hosting a governor's reception on Thursday, June 5th. If you want to meet the team, the dress code is casually elegant, which I'm not
I
sure.
didn't get my invite. Did you get yours?
Oh, you can buy tickets online. It's $100,
Oh,
but
I don't want to buy ticket. $100. I'm good.
$100. You don't get casually elegant for nothing. But all right, let's wrap this up with Group F. Leading the way in Group F is Suriname with 6 points. Second place, Puerto Rico with 4 points and a +8 goal difference. Third place, El Salvador, 4 points and a +2 goal difference. Fourth place, Vincy Heat, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 0 points, -5 goal difference. And then near and dear to our heart, but still in fifth place, Anguilla, 0 points, -12 goal difference. But we still love them. Donald, what's the story on Suriname?
Well, Suriname has got almost everybody in camp, but they are missing Geraldo Becker. Geraldo Becker had to drop out of both World Cup qualifying and the Gold Cup with a knee injury. So that's a big blow for them. But again, they still are looking good at being a top only team with 6 points in the group.
Yeah. Puerto Rico sitting in a really good spot. 4 points there, away to Suriname to start, but then they host Vincy Heat. So good opportunity for them to snag some points there. I believe Charlie Trout is still the manager. I can't find anything online like confirming who's actually coaching this team. Kind of a weird spot for Puerto Rico, who actually just rebranded their federation. Like they've got new colors and everything like that
Yeah, they look sweet
over the
too.
last year. It looked great. I did find it interesting. They recently played a friendly against Nicaragua. They drew 1-1 back on June 1st. They played at Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Yeah,
Because what?
the new Rhode Island SC Stadium that apparently is
Yeah,
very nice that just opened.
it looks great, but very. I don't know if there's a big Puerto Rico population or a big Nicaraguan population in Rhode Island, but good for them. You love to
I
see it.
wonder. I know there's a big Puerto Rican population in New York City. I wonder if there's a Nicaraguan population in Boston, and they just kind of said, "Let's meet somewhere in the middle." I have no idea. But that's it's good for Rhode Island FC to for a team like that, their second year to open up the new stadium and immediately get an international game. Probably really good for their stock. Let's move on to El Salvador. El Salvador again, they're in second. I'm sorry, they're in third place. They are at Anguilla and then they host Suriname, so they have a great chance to make up some points and make up some ground. Narciso Oriana is out for the Anguilla match with an injury. Unclear as if he will be back for the game against Suriname.
Yes. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, fourth place, sitting on 0 points. They host Anguilla to lead off the window. Then they go away to Puerto Rico. They are on 0 points, but I will note that St. Vincent has won at least one qualifier in 5 of the last 6 cycles. So Ezra Hendrickson's squad should get a result here somewhere. They have been playing friendlies with domestic squad. They beat St. Kitts and Nevis 3-0. They played that one up in Georgetown, which is actually on like the north part of St.
Hmm.
Vincent. I thought that was really interesting. They didn't play in Arnos Val, but at that spot, our beloved cricket field outside Kingstown, they hosted the British Virgin Islands and got a 1-1 draw, which very interesting, but also not a full strength squad. So, what can you find out about that?
Right. And then lastly, our Dolphins, Anguilla. I think the only real note here is that we want them to score a goal. They haven't scored one yet, and I feel that they should because they deserve it.
They haven't scored in this round. Remember, they scored a goal in the first round, and it was the
Hmm.
one goal that they've scored in qualifying in the last 25 years.
And that was enough to get them through to this round. So
Yes. Yeah. So Keith Jeffrey's squad, they've got some tough sledding ahead. Um, yeah, they played some friendlies recently. Do you know about the Pelican Cup?
I've heard of this, but I didn't hear what happened.
So on St. Martin, like the St. Martins host, some
Right.
friendlies. So it's St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Anguilla, just playing some friendlies. Anguilla lost to St. Martin, the French one, and St. Kitts and Nevis in recent weeks. But yeah, Dolphins hosting El Salvador is going to be a very tough one for them. But
Yes.
Godspeed to them in this window. All right, Donald. I don't know if we want to go group by group, but we went through all the groups. Do you have any predictions or something you're looking for this June window?
So I do have all my predictions listed out. So I'll just run through it very quickly. In Group A, I have Honduras and Cuba coming out. Group B, I have Costa Rica, and I think the surprise here is St. Kitts and Nevis. I have them advancing. C, I have Curacao and Haiti. That's pretty far determined. D, I have Panama, and I do think Nicaragua squeaks it out. In E, Jamaica, Guatemala. That makes a lot of sense. And Group F, I have El Salvador. And as much as I would love Puerto Rico to pull through, I think they get overtaken by El Salvador, and Suriname holds on to that second spot.
All right. I wish I would have like prepared more, but I'm just gonna kind of I'm
Wing it.
going off the I'm
Go
shooting off
do it
the
live.
I'm shooting off that. We're gonna do it live. There's no words there. Uh, all right, Group A. I do have kind of a shock here. I'm going Honduras, easy to get through, but I believe Bermuda. I think they've got a good draw here. I think Bermuda is going to find a way to get through to the next round. Group B, Costa Rica, obviously. I feel Trinidad and Tobago is just in too good of a spot right now, and especially Costa Rica likely having a dead rubber game at the end
Mhm.
there. They should be able to get enough points to get through. That Trinidad and Tobago St. Kitts and Nevis game, that's going to decide
That's gonna
that
decide
second
it.
spot. Group C, Curacao and Haiti. I think that one's pretty much done already. Group D, Panama, obviously getting through. Nicaragua, I hesitate because I feel like Guyana could surprise them, but I'm in the end I'm going to go Nicaragua there. So Nicaragua and Panama in Group D. In Group E, we've got Jamaica, we've got Guatemala. I don't see the Dominican Republic getting the results they need to get through there. And then in Group F, yeah, Suriname, El Salvador. I think that's I'm gonna have to agree with you there.
I think we had about
At
the same. I think the only one we had different was St. Kitts versus Trinidad and Tobago, which again, that's they play each other. So that will be a match that could really set the tone for that group.
yeah, so the matches start. If you're listening to this, we're releasing this Wednesday morning. The matches start today. Make sure you follow along. The matches start Wednesday, I believe Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, and then by the end of this round, we're going to be down to the last 12 teams in Concacaf to qualify for these final spots. Um, Thank you to everyone who's listening. Thank you for caring about CONCACAF because we care about CONCACAF a lot. You should support us on our Patreon, patreon.com/podcacaf. At our Patreon, you can subscribe for as little as $1 a month and support the podcast and also get one more round of bonus episodes, which Donald and I are going to record after this because we're going to get one more round and we're going to talk about CONCACAF stuff and you can listen to all those there. It's got some other bonus content intermittently when we actually like do stuff. It's good. It's great. But make sure you're following us on socials at Podcacaf, POD, Blueski, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon. Um,
Threads. Are we on Threads? I don't even know
yeah,
what it
we're on
is.
Threads.
We're on Threads.
Yeah, we're getting on Reddit. We're gonna get on Reddit going. And if you're a Patreon member, we also have a Discord. So there's also that. There's plenty of ways to interact. But we are very excited for this upcoming window. Donald, where can people find you?
At BlazinDW, I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Threads. I have a Twitter account. I don't use it. I just use it for news from people who have not gotten to those other places, but you can still find me there.
Yeah. Also, if I don't think we even mentioned off the top, Jonathan's not with us today. He's still traveling.
Still
Um,
traveling, but he will be back.
yeah,
He'll
he'll
be
be
back very
back.
soon.
We kind of just ignored the fact that he wasn't here and got right into the World Cup
I was
qualifying.
waiting for you
But
to be like, "Oh yeah," and Jonathan's not with us. So you said, and we have World Cup qualifying. I was like, oh, okay,
I was just
going
chomping
with
at the
it.
bit to talk, regional soccer.
He's coming back in time for the U.S. match that is in your neck of the woods next week.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. But thank you to everyone who's listened. We're going to wrap it up right here. Enjoy the soccer, and we'll see you soon.